The genesis of the trust is that between 1995 and 1997, increments for public officers were frozen. Because of the freeze in increments, there were a series of negotiations between government and the unions at the time, the unions being BNTU and PSU. The resolution to those negotiations are enshrined in circulars number 9 of 1996 and number 10 of 1996. And basically what those circulars did, the increments were restored eventually, and government also gave to the unions shares in B.T.L, and the shares were to be used, the dividends from the shares were to be used to develop projects to benefit all public servants. At least that was our interpretation. The interpretation of the claimants, I guess you could speak to them, was that the beneficiaries were that narrow group of public servants from 95 to 97. The unions took the perspective that the beneficiaries should be all public servants.
Is this a win for you guys on one side of this particular argument? Where do you stand in terms of what was discussed and agreed upon by the courts?
Well, what isn't a win for us is who the beneficiaries are. Again, the beneficiaries, according to the judgment, I wouldn't want to speak too much of that because we haven't seen the perfected judgment and we are not lawyers. But from my understanding, the beneficiaries are now that narrow group of public servants whose increments were frozen from 95 to 97. Those would be the beneficiaries of the trust.
My understanding, to go back once more, is that these monies have been set aside for projects and would not be dispersed to individuals, correct?
That is also my understanding, yes, that is also my understanding. That the trust deed as it exists now should be revised, because the trust deed should be revised such that GOB becomes the settler. But from my understanding, the aim of the trust remains to develop projects to benefit beneficiaries, except that beneficiaries has now been narrowly defined. That is my understanding.